When you really start on the journey of loving yourself and creating the life that you want and deserve, God willing, you actually consciously start to integrate habits that you know will benefit you, that they're beneficial. And so in this video, I'm going to be talking about 3 habits that I believe you won't regret, meaning they're just going to benefit you in ways that are unimaginable, God willing. So the first habit is completing something that you've started. Now, I know before I started the Love Yourself movement, and with my clients, this is a habit that I had and a habit that my clients often have when they come to me, is that they start something, and I used to start something and I never used to finish it, and it really brought dissatisfaction to my life. I know it brings dissatisfaction to my client's life, but now I'm talking about myself. It really brought a lot of dissatisfaction to my life, and it's almost as if I lost credibility within myself. So whenever I would start something and then I wouldn't finish it, it's almost as if I lost confidence in myself every time I would do that. So I made the clear intention, I decided, you know what, whatever I'm going to start, God willing, I'm going to finish. And so what I started to do is I started really, really small, and I started to, saying or intending that I wanted to work on something that took, didn't take much of my time, and something very small. I took baby steps. So for instance, I would say, I'm going to start, let's say, for instance, walking every day for 3 days, okay? So I knew in my mind, that I'm going to walk for 10 minutes every day for 3 days, okay? So I knew that in my mind, I gave myself a short period of time so I could stick to it, okay? And the task that I gave myself was quite a small task, but I knew that I would start it at this day, and then 3 days later, I would finish. And that was it. And so I kept on, and I would do it. I would say, right, for 3 days, I'm going to do this. And then that's it, I would do it. And I just started building myself up and building my credibility within myself that whatever I was going to start, I was going to finish. And that really helped me with the Love Yourself movement, because it takes a lot of work, doesn't it? It takes a lot of work. It's my whole life, my Love Yourself movement. And so that I know that now I have specific tasks. I know that I need to start, and they need to be finished. Nothing that I actually intend to do, thank God, goes unfinished. I finish it all. Even sometimes, for instance, it takes me longer. Yes, sometimes a task takes me longer than other tasks. Some task takes me shorter than other tasks, but there's no task now in my life, God willing, that I say I will intend to do, that I won't finish. And that really built up the credibility between me and myself. And that's what I say to my clients. The first thing that you need to do that will really change your life is build up the credibility, build the relationship between you and yourself. And once you've done that with small things, and then you go over a period of time, like a good couple of months, give yourself a good couple of months of really starting things and then finishing them. Then you go on to the outside world. That's like a private victory, okay? Once you've got your private victory, you're going to go public. Then it's, you know what, I'm not going to promise anybody that I'm going to do something if I'm not going to complete it. So whatever you promise or say that you're going to do, you just do it, because you've done it with yourself. So now it's time to do it with the outside world. It's really building that integrity and your character, because you've done it, like I said, privately. Now it's time to do it publicly. Life changer. So just let me recap, just to make it really simplify it for you. Just complete what you've started. Intend, God willing, to start very, very little things. So for instance, let's say you could even start with my children. I used to do like a Lego set. The amount of Lego sets that I bought, and they used to go unfinished. Now, anytime I buy a Lego set, right, that's it. We're going to start it, we're going to finish it, and we're going to put it in your bedroom. No pieces are going to be lost, and we're going to complete it. So start small. Whatever you do, intend to, God willing, complete something that you've started. So that's the first tip that really changed my life. Second tip that was just a life changer, and I've talked about it before, and I think I'll talk about it forever, because I just think it really changed my life, is say no when you want to say no, and say yes when you want to say yes. In the past, I always used to say yes when I really wanted to say no. I didn't even realize that it was happening until I got very ill. And then I realized that, all this, I must have had all this resentment inside me, and because I was doing things that I really didn't want to do. And so that's when I was trying to heal myself. And thank God a billion times I did heal. Thank God a billion times God healed me and I healed. Thank God I was healed. Thank God a billion times. But I just decided to, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to be honest to myself, and I'm going to be honest to the people in my life. The people, because I love the people in my life. I love everybody, and I love the people in my life. So the least I can give them is honesty. And I love myself. The least I can give myself is honesty. So I just began to saying yes when I wanted to say yes, and no when I wanted to say no. At the beginning, it was slightly uncomfortable, but I also actually made the intention of not to make an excuse. Because if you're used to saying yes, and then, for instance, somebody asks you to do something, you really don't want to do it, you'll start to come up with all these excuses, which are possibly lies, like little fibs, yes, which make you feel even worse and make you feel guilty, and then you're not being honest with yourself or with others. It's all about being honest. It's all about building that character, your character. It's all about building that confidence between you and just, your integrity. So I decided, you know what, I'm not going to make any more excuses anymore. If I want to say yes, if I want to do something, I'll say yes. And if I don't want to do it, I'll say no. And I don't need to give an excuse. I just need to say yes or no. That's it. And everybody got used to it. I got used to it. And when I got used to it, everybody got used to it. So that's the second tip that I believe that you'll never, ever regret. Saying yes when you want to say yes, and say no when you want to say no. And you can feel it. When you've said yes, when you don't want to say yes, you have this feeling of, oh, I wish I didn't do that. But when you say yes, when you really want to, when you say yes, when you really want to say yes, is you do it from your heart. You do it from your heart, and it's really the results of what you're doing. You don't want anything back. You're doing it from your heart. So it feels much better. You're in a line with yourself. So that's point number 2 that really helped me. And the third one was taking ownership for your life. And I want you to write it down on a piece of paper. I intend to take ownership for my life. And if you think about it, that's a really big thing. It basically means that I'm going to take responsibility for me. I'm going to take responsibility for my life. I'm not going to wait for anybody to do anything for me. I'm going to do, God willing, everything I want. And God willing, everything, God willing, that I want to see in my life, I'm going to work towards. I'm not going to wait for anybody to actually dictate or control my life or for anything. I'm just going to take responsibility for my life. I'm going to take responsibility for my successes. I'm going to take responsibility for when I go wrong. I'm going to take responsibility, for instance, for all the choices that I've made. I'm going to take responsibility for every word that comes out of my mouth. I'm going to take responsibility, God willing, for every action. I am going to take responsibility for my life. It's my life, and I'm in charge of it. And when I'm in charge of my life, I take responsibility for everything. And that, taking ownership for your life, that just changed everything. That my life was my responsibility. That just, it put me in brain freeze. It put me in, I was like more powerful. It put me in I don't know what word I'm trying to find, but it's not coming up. But it put me in a state, that's it, a state, so sorry. It put me in a state of power rather in being like in the victim mode. It just totally changed everything. And so when, for instance, challenges come up, or when, for instance, even something exciting comes up, whatever, I always say to myself, right, Della, what do you need to do? What do you need to do, God willing, to get out of this challenge and to see the miracle? And what do you need to do to enjoy, for instance, if it's something exciting, what do you need to do to enjoy this and to really, really enjoy what's going on now? So whether in challenges or whether in nice times, I'm always asking myself, right, this is your life, you've taken responsibility for it, God willing. What do you need to do to see yourself through the good times, God willing, and to see yourself through the challenges? And those are my 3 habits, I believe, that you'll never regret, ever regret. Let's repeat. So the first one is completing something that you've started. The second one is to say no when you want to say no, and say yes when you want to say yes. And the third one is to take ownership for your life. You are responsible for your life. You're responsible for your happiness. You're responsible, God willing, for your success. Take ownership for your life and take that control back. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly click on the like button and subscribe to my channel, and have a brilliant, beautiful, absolutely amazing day.